So modules are what class? Modules are basically, they are code libraries. Modules are basically code libraries which have a collection of functions pertaining to pertaining. I'm not sure pertaining is the right word. Related to that. So pertaining to a particular pertaining to some hallelujah, pertaining to some similar functionalities. Okay. Let me explain what happens in class. Suppose, let's say, let me explain why modules are there also at the same time. Okay. See what happened now. Initially, when Python was created, so it was created just for some like general purpose work. Okay. So whatever code we have covered, whatever topics we have covered so far till now. Okay. So all like your operators, data types, your uh, condition statements, loop statements, all the methods that we have covered. Okay, all those are basically present for your like simple general work only. Okay, but later on, as Python grew, okay, like it basically people started using Python in different sectors, okay, in different ways. Okay, so new and newer functionalities were required, okay, to be incorporated into Python. So instead of incorporating those functionalities into core Python, what we did, we created code libraries, separate code libraries, which can be included in the code separately and then can be used within the code. Okay, why we did this was, suppose see, already in Python there are, let's say, around 70 functions as far as I remember. Okay, there are 70 inbuilt functions. I'm not talking about methods. I'm talking about functions. There's a map ho gaya, filter ho gaya. Then there is your line function, type function, okay, range function, input function, print function. Like this, there are approximately 70 functions present in for Python. Now, 70 functions are already there. Now, if you include more functions, okay, like there can be like thousands of functions, right, that you can include. You can include maybe function for calculating square root, maybe. Okay, you can include function for making calculating, let's say, I don't know, LCM. Okay, calculating HCF maybe. Okay, so you can literally include thousands of functions in the core Python alone. Okay, so what will happen in that case if you include many functions? Okay, in core Python alone, so your basic Python, the core Python will become unnecessarily heavier. Okay, and hence slower. Okay, if there are, let's say, if you know, suppose let's say you're jack of all trades. So what will happen in that case? If you're if that if I ask you to do a particular task, you will do it slowly, right? But suppose if you're master of a single concept, single task, then you will do it fast, right? Same thing happens in Python also. Okay, if you include a lot of things, then it will become easier for Python. It will become harder, okay, difficult for Python to handle all the functionalities in the backend. Okay, so that is why we created modules, separate modules, which can be imported into the code so as to implement a particular functionality. Okay, first thing. All of you got till here? Got this thing or not? Whatever I have explained till now. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to explain you the concept of modules. Okay, just like I explained you how functions work. So I will just restart this module so as to flush out everything. Now there is no variable declared in the memory. Okay, now we're starting from scratch. What we will do, class? Okay, modules. When you talk about modules, so modules can be of two types, just like functions. Okay, they can be of two types. There is inbuilt modules. Okay, inbuilt modules present. There is second is your user-defined modules. Now, the user-defined modules can be again categorized into two. Okay, this is my categorization. I categorized this into categories. First is your external. Second is internal. External modules class, which are those which are not present in core Python, but has to be downloaded from the internet because they are not inbuilt, okay, but they are created by someone else, okay, from somewhere in the world, okay, and then you can like there are some specific websites where you can post your modules, and then some person can download that from that internet, okay. Second is internal, okay, defined by the coder, okay, by the coder. Inbuilt modules present means pre-installed modules, pre-installed modules which come along with Python, okay, pre-installed modules which come along with Python. Okay, so that is it. Now, inbuilt modules, there is a class very famous module called as math module. Okay, so what we do class in that case, we write here import math. To import math, what we'll do class, understand this in this manner. Okay, import math. What it will do? See, this is class your main namespace. Okay, this is your main namespace. Okay, the short में ns लिख रहा हूँ सभी के. This is your main namespace class. What will happen when you write import math in your code? So what will Python do? Python will create another namespace, okay, of the module that you have imported, math namespace. And what it will do, it will create a reference. It will create a small reference of this module in the main namespace so that you can access it. Okay, because you have mentioned the math namespace, because you have written import math here. Okay, because you have written import math in the main code, that is why the reference of this is being created in the main code. Okay, now what will happen? Suppose let's say you want to calculate the square root of 4. So if you simply write sqrt of 4, it will throw error. Can anyone tell me why this code is throwing error? What might be a possible reason for this? Okay. Square root is nor inbuilt, neither inbuilt nor defined. Define kara, na it is inbuilt, right? Now, but square root function is basically defined inside the math namespace. So what will happen? I will write here. Let's say x is equal to. X equal to करते हैं मान. Okay. So this is where what I will do here. X is equal to math dot sqrt of 4. Then I will check x. So you can see it is. Wait. They run import math. Then I will write here. This. It is giving us 2.0. Okay. So now what will happen in this case class? Square root function is basically defined inside the math module. Okay, consider that module as a file only. It is a file present in your system inside which there is a function called as square root function. Okay, so how it works? Similar manner. यहाँ पे square root function होगा, ठीक है, और उसका कुछ code होगा. Whatever code might be there for the square root function that will be written in the math module. Okay, when you write math dot square root, okay, so at sqrt, and this case what you are doing class, you are basically calling the sqrt function, okay, which is present inside the math module. So what it will do, it will create a separate namespace. Which namespace? For sqrt. Okay, so this processing of calculating the square root will happen in this namespace. Okay, and as soon as it gets over, as soon as the processing gets over, what will happen class? This memory space will get flushed out. Got this class or not? All of you know enough. This is how functions work. So all of you are getting this here also, right? The only difference here is that sqrt function, instead of being present in the main code, it is present in the math module. That's the only difference. Rest all is same. All of you are getting this class or not? Now class, there is a small problem. Okay, what problem is there? Suppose, let's say, I want to take my math marks input from the user. So we write here math equal to input and enter maths marks. So I wrote this. Then if I run math, so it will give me, if I enter 85, sorry, 88, it will give me 88. Also got till here. Now, what will happen? What do you think will happen if I run this code again? Or suppose, let's say if I put 9 here, what do you think will happen? It should give 3, right? Ideally, it should give 3, no? Think about it. पहली बात तो it will not give 3, it will give 3.0. Right, first thing is that. Okay. Second thing is that this code will not work. Why this code will not work? Because I have redefined the word math. Are you getting this class? Are you getting this class? This same thing happens here also. Let's say, suppose, just for the sake of explanation, just give me a minute. Suppose you have a function with you. EO is equal to this function, which will give you true or false. Okay, so if you write here EO 45, so it will give you false. All of you got this, right? All of you got this code, no? All of you got this code, no? Okay. Now, suppose if I write here EO is equal to 59, okay, and then I start writing EO 45. So what do you think will happen? It will throw error, right? Why error? Because see, int object is not callable. Why? Because we redefined the EO variable. No? EO was a function earlier. That is why we were able to call it. But now it is not a function anymore because we redefined the EO. The term EO we redefined to an integer. Okay, and an integer cannot be called. Are you getting this class, everyone? Can I call an integer? No. I can fetch an integer value from the memory, but I cannot call an integer. Are you getting this class, everyone, or not? Class, and at least respond no. Okay. Now, same thing is happening with math also. When we imported the math module, so it was imported as a math module. It was a module. That type of entity was a module. Okay, but when I wrote math equal to input here, okay, so I redefined I made it as a variable. And which kind of variable? It is now a integer variable. Okay, so that is why when you start using it as a module, it will throw error. So what you can do, class? What you can do? See, let me show you also. If I simply show math, it will look like this. Okay, now what we can do, class, here, I can write here import. See, this kind of problem can occur. So there is one concept present in Python called as aliasing. Okay, alias, do you understand class? Alias जैसे होता है ना कि शाहरुख खान AKA SRK, right? So that is your aliasing. Okay, AKA, right. Okay, so aliasing of module names. Okay, so you can do what? You can write here import math as M. Totally up to you. Totally up to you. You can write import maths as, let's say, Mahesh. Totally up to you. Okay, what you want to put. Okay, so I'm putting M for now. Okay. Now, let me restart the kernel so that I will flush out everything. Import math as M. So it is importing. imported. Now class, if I write here x is equal to math dot sqrt, let's say I give 16. So tell me what should be the output in this case. It will throw error because I have imported the math module in the code. Yes, but have I imported it as a name of math in the name of math? No, na. I have imported in the name of m only. So now you have to write m.sqrt and it will work. Now you can write math is equal to whatever, math equal to 45. Okay. Now if you write m.sqrt of 45, it will work fine. Or whatever, कुछ जरूरी नहीं कि 45 रखना है, कुछ भी मतलब it is no connection with that. See, got this class everyone? Understood how to import something, how to alias something? Perfect. Okay, now math is an inbuilt module. So there is an official documentation. Okay, simply write math module. Okay, documentation. Okay. So whichever module, whenever it is an inbuilt module, you can find the documentation at, you can see docs.python.org. You can find the documentation here. Okay, so go to this documentation. So you can find all of them. See, GCD, greatest common divisor, you can take out factorial, your flooring. Remember class flooring I explained? Flooring, floor division I was explaining. So flooring I told you. Flooring means round down. Okay, ceiling means round up. Okay, that you can do. GCD, you can see infinite. You can define infinite also. LCM, lowest common multiple. Okay, then least common multiple, right? Then mod. Okay, then permutation, all of you know, right? Permutation combinations. Okay, then you say, for example, you say let me show you. Suppose you have a list with you. L is equal to 2 comma 6 comma 1. Okay, so you can simply write sum of L to get the sum. ls is equal to whatever, you will get the sum. But there is no, if you want to get the product of all of them. Imran, I'm not sure if you will, like, inbuilt I will cover today, but your user defined modules I will cover in the next session. Okay. So suppose you want to multiply, you want a product of all of them. So what you can do, m.prod, okay, L. So you can see it is giving you a product of all of them. Getting this class, everyone? There is no inbuilt function to calculate the product of a sequence. Okay. I'm not going to, okay, wait, don't think that I'm going to cover all of this. No, I'm going to give you idea. There are literally hundreds of inbuilt modules present. I cannot cover all of them. I will give you an idea of 2, 3 only, and I will give you how modules work. Okay, you will basically learn them yourself based on the requirement. Not learn per se, but you will use them based on the requirement. Okay, then you can see exponential function is there. Okay, log is there. See, do you remember class log? All of you. So if I simply write log 10, log 2 with base 10, okay, or you can say log 10 with base 10. So what is that? It will throw error here, right? So why it is throwing error, class? What should I do? What should I do? M dot, right? So you can say it is giving us 1.0. Okay. Similarly, m dot log. Remember log 2? Log 2 was pretty famous now. But at least this is the first thing that we learn in log 0.3010. Okay. Similarly, suppose m dot sine 0. What is sine 0 plus? Sine 0 is 0. Okay. What is m dot cos? Acha. Now, all of you know what pi, right? Pi, life of pi. Yes. So pi is not defined, right, in core Python. But if I write here m.pi, so it will work fine. So you can see, class, it is not necessary that you will define only. Wait, it is not necessary, class, that you will define only functions inside a module. You can define variables also. So when it is a function, you have to put the parenthesis, okay? And if it is not a function, then you can simply put like just a variable. Pi is a variable which is defined inside the math module, okay? Similarly, if you do you know exponential constant, okay? Exponential constant, do you know? 2.7. So that is also there. M dot T or tau, कुछ तो है. हाँ. Tau is 6.28. All of you know, right? So all these are defined as variables. So now suppose let's say you want to find out the cos. M dot cos of let's say pi by 2. So you can write here m dot pi by 2. Okay. Uh, pi, so you can see minus 1.0. What is pi by 2 plus m cos pi by 2? What is cos pi by 2? It is 1, no? Cos 0 is 1. No, sorry, cos 0 is 1. Cos 0 is 1. Right? So you can see cos 0 is 1. Okay. So similarly, many more functions are available. Log, c square to square root. Power function is also available. Okay. Trigonometric function, see hypotenuse, sine, cos, tan. We can convert also degree to radian. Okay. Hyperbolic functions also available. Then gamma, constant, see pi. Okay. Your exponential constant. Okay. Then material constant tau. Okay. It is called a circle constant. Okay. Then infinity is also defined. See, infinity is also defined in this. Then nth will show later on, not a number. Okay. So that is there. So now, class, if you want to see a list, if you want to see a list of all the functions that are defined here, so what you can do, you can simply write dir m. Okay. So you can see, class, it is giving you a list of all the functions that are defined inside the math module. It is giving you a list. ये तो ignore कर सकते हो. This underscore वाले you can ignore, but from you can see all the functions, all the variables, all of them it is showing you. So you can check len of dir of map. Okay, so there are approximately 65 functions defined inside the math module. Achha, one thing plus this number might differ from like version to version. Suppose in my system, इसमें एक function होता होगा, I guess. नहीं है. I think map dot underscore underscore version. This usually is available. No. This is majorly available in most of the modules. Okay, version is available. Okay, so it is not present in this module. Let it be. Okay, so what happens to us using there are different versions available. Okay, so depending on the version that you have in your system, okay, the number of functions can differ. Sometimes this होता है कि पुराने version में, like in the old version there are, let's say, I don't know, maybe 50 functions, and in a newer version they added one more function, so there are 51. Okay, then in a much new, in the latest version they removed 2 functions. That can also be there. Okay, so it is completely possible. It is not necessary that the newer version will always have more number of functions. Okay, sometimes what happens, some functions become obsolete also over time. Okay, or something better comes in the market. Okay, or in a development, so sometimes they remove the functions also. Okay, so I don't remember, but I remember actually one thing. Yeah, I saw one library. Okay, so this power function was available in that. Okay, in a previous version, but in the newer version they removed the power function. Why? Because power can be, there is an inbuilt way also, no? You can simply write 8 power 2 also. Okay, so there is inbuilt functionality also, or you can do m dot power Okay, and 8 comma 2, that will also work, give you the same thing. Okay, so that is also there. So power function right now is there in math module, but it is completely possible that it might, they might remove that in the later versions. Okay, because inbuilt functionality is already present. Okay, so that is again there. Or you can check this is power function. So m dot power, you can write question mark and you can run the cell. So x to the power of y. There is no other functionality available. I thought ki there might be something else also present in this. So that is why there is nothing else present. So it is completely possible that they will remove the power function later on. Okay. So all of you got till here, class? Everyone? All of you got till here? Acha, class, I just need 5 minutes. Okay, so do one thing. Whatever functions are available here, na, open this documentation maybe, or you can directly check from the dir in your system and try some of the functions that you can understand. I think you can understand permutation, right? You can understand, I think GCD, greatest common divisor. Okay, so the functions that you can yourself understand, you can understand ceiling. Okay, cos, comb is combination. Okay, so try it once. Give me 5 minutes just. Okay. Hello class, am I audible? Okay. So any doubts in the chat? Okay. Okay. So all of the class clear, everyone till all of whatever I've covered so far clear? Clear? Right? Okay. So let's proceed now. Now let's suppose, see, we have understood two things: how to import a module and how to do aliasing while importing. Okay, these two things we have understood. Now suppose let's say class we have to import two modules. So you can simply write import math, and there is another module called as random. Okay, and you want to do, if you want to do aliasing while importing, either you can write the code like this. Okay, या फिर इसको ऐसे लिख सकते हैं import math, import random into separate lines also, that will also work fine, not an issue. Okay, now one more thing that you can do class here is import, जैसे यहाँ पर import math. Suppose if you want to do aliasing while importing, so import math as m and random as r, whatever you want to write. Okay, so you can do aliasing like this also. All of you understood till here? Understood till here, class? Okay. Now what I'm going to show, see what happens now. Understand this class in this manner. Suppose if I in my code, if I write here import math, so what will happen? I'm not like you can do aliasing totally up to you. Okay. So suppose I have imported math module, right? So what will Python do? It will create a separate namespace, right? It will create a separate namespace for the math module, right? Now what will happen? I showed you कि अगर हम लोग, let's suppose if I check here dir of math, let's say, okay, so it is giving us, and if you check length of dir of math, it is giving 65. That means what? That this particular namespace that is created separately, okay, holds how many functions? 65 functions, or you can say 65 names. Okay, 65 names means class, it can be anything, it can be variables, it can be functions, okay, it can be classes. Okay, so it holds 65 names. Are you getting till here or not? It holds 65 names. Are you getting this, class? Hello. That means a lot of names are present. That means a lot of memory. Obviously, okay, but just for the explanation I'm saying, okay, 65. Okay, so that means a lot of memory space will be used, right? Yes or no? Now suppose class, let's say you don't want all the functions. Okay, you just want the, let's say you just want the log function for now. Okay, you just want the log function, you don't want other function, or let's say you want two functions. Okay, so what you can do, you can write here from math. Okay, what I will do now, plus I will start the kernel so that the math module is not present anymore. Okay, everything is flushed out. Now, instead of importing everything, instead of importing the entire module, what we will do, we will write here from math import log10. And suppose जैसे कि मेरे को let's say sqrt भी चाहिए, I need sqrt as well, so I will write from math import log10. If I just need log10, I will just write like this. Okay, if I need sqrt as well, I will write sqrt also. Now what will happen, class? Try to understand. I will run this code. So both of them are important. Now what will happen? Class, tell me, have I imported math module? Have I imported math module in the code? No. That means math namespace will not get created at all. Okay, math namespace will not get created. Rather, what will happen? These two functionalities of log10 and square root will become part of our main code only. Okay, that means if I write here math.log10 of, let's say, 2, okay, x equal to, so what do you think will be the output here? Chalo, you will get confused. SQRT SQRT4. So what will be the output class here? Ideally, 2 should be the output. Tell me one thing. Have we imported math in our code? No, no. So is there any reference of math in the main code, in the main namespace? Is there any reference of math in the main namespace? No, no. Python doesn't, like, our code doesn't know what math is. So if I run this code, it will throw an error कि भाई math तो है ही नहीं, math is not defined. Getting this? In this case, because SQRT is now part of our main namespace only, so you can simply write x equal to SQRT4. Got this, class, everyone? So the benefit of this is what? Instead of importing 65 functions, okay, we are just importing 2 functions that we need. Clear, class? Got this, class, or not? Now let me show you one more thing. Okay, there is one more problem while importing math. Chalo, let's suppose you said you don't know which functions you require. You can require multiple functions. Okay. So instead of writing from math import, you wrote import math. Okay. Now the problem with this is that first problem with this is that every time you will have to write math.sqrt or math.log10 or whatever, whichever function you are using, you have to write this every time. Now, instead of doing this, sorry, this is the first problem. Second problem is that when you write import math, so what Python will do, it will create a separate namespace. Okay, and all these functions, log10, sqrt, all these functions will be defined here. Okay, now suppose, class, you have to fetch a function log, let's say sqrt. So first Python will do what? It will go to the, sorry, right? I told you it will do what? It will first go to this reference. Okay, from here it will go to the actual math namespace. The actual math namespace it will go, and then from there it will go to sqrt. Sorry. From there it will go to sqrt function, and then it will create a separate namespace for sqrt. Okay, so this will obviously always happen. But notice one thing, this part, wait, this part and this part, basically going to the math namespace every time. Okay, is there any problem in this case? Every time it will have to go to the math namespace to fetch the sqrt function. So is there any problem with this? No problem at all. Think about it. The problem with this is it will take time now. A little bit of time will spend, time consuming, a little bit. Okay, but still it will take time comparatively, right? Why? Because every time it will have to go to the math namespace to fetch the sqrt function. If you're running the sqrt function in a loop for, let's say, 100 times, so it will go to the math namespace 100 times. Are you getting the problem, class? If you're running the sqrt function inside a loop that is running 100 times, so it will literally go to the math namespace 100 times. So whatever, let's say it is spending 1 nanosecond is being spent to go to the math namespace. So it will take 100 nanoseconds. Are you getting this, class, everyone? The problem. The problem doesn't occur when you're running them when you're calling the sqrt function one time. That is completely fine. But in real time scenario, you call it multiple times. Suppose you're calculating square root. So obviously you won't calculate square root of a single function, single number. Na? There will be hundreds of numbers for which you will calculate the square root. Suppose that you're calculating the sum of marks of a particular student. So in real life, there won't be a single student. There will be 1,000 students in a school. So you will have to calculate the sum function for all of them. Are you getting this, class? So that will take time. Okay, that time will get multiplied. Okay, n number of times. हाँ चल जाएगा ना, कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं है? ठीक है, मतलब चल जाए ज्यादा टाइम ना, मतलब ये नहीं कि 2 घंटे में खत्म हो जाए। ठीक। Okay, so all of you got till here class, got the problem, everyone? Okay, so now that is what is there in now this for this particular purpose, what you can do, one thing, from math import log10, you can do this. Okay, this in this case what we are doing, we are importing some specific functionalities only into the main namespace. Or suppose let's say you don't know which functionality you need. Okay, you can maybe you might need, let's say, 200 sorry out of 65, let's say you might need 20-30 functionalities. So instead of writing from math import this, okay, what you can do, you can write you can write from math import asterisk. So in this case, what will happen? Whatever is present inside the math module, be it anything, will get imported to your main namespace. Everything, each and everything will get imported to your main namespace. That means if you directly write pi, now you can see it is working fine. Earlier we had to write math.py. Now you can directly write pi, it will work. Okay, directly you can use cos. Cos you can see I have not imported now anywhere. Pi also not imported. But if I write here cos of pi, it will work fine. Got this class? So each of them, I have told you 4 ways. See, I have told you 4 ways. Import math. Import math, what will happen? What is the benefit of import math? All the functions related to the math module will be present in a separate math, separate namespace. So it will make the code more structured, right? More structured in the sense, or one more sense is there also. This is suppose cos pi is written. Suppose you have written a 1,000-line code. Let's say Imran is there, and Imran has written a 1,000-line code, and he is using cos pi in his code. Okay. Now, up 1,000-line code. Okay. Now let's suppose he has imported the math module in the starting only. He has written in the starting from math import asterisk. So everything will get imported. Now the problem with that is, क्योंकि मुझे तो नहीं पता ना, I didn't saw the code in the starting. I don't know from where this cost function is coming from. Are you getting this class? If I have not seen the import function, so will I get to know from where this cost function is coming from? No, no. Class. Hello. Right? First problem. That is, suppose let's say I created my own cost function. Okay. I have created my, I don't know, जैसे एक example लेते हैं. Suppose let's say there is a function called as ERF. Okay, it is the error function. It does something. Okay. Now suppose class, let's say I don't know कि there is a function called as ERF. ठीक है. तो मैंने कुछ function किया. Okay, I created it. Okay, and I was using it. Okay, and at some point in my code, I wrote from math import asterisk. So what will happen now? No, you cannot use aliasing with asterisk. No. 65 functions को कैसे alias करोगे बैठ के इमरान? How will you alias all 65 functions? From math import asterisk, you write, and then you started using ERF function in your code. So see, if I am using ERF function here, okay, without this, it is working fine. Okay, now I from math import asterisk, now I write ERF, okay, function. So now see, it is throwing error. Previously it is working fine. Okay, but after this one, in line number 5, it is throwing error. Why? Math.erf takes exactly one argument. Why? See, I didn't knew that there is a function called as ERF in the math module. Okay, and it got imported because I have written from math import asterisk. So now what it will do, it will create problem with the functions that I have created. Are you getting this class, everyone? Because they will overwrite, na? When you write from math import asterisk, so it will overwrite the function that you have created. Okay, so in this kind of cases, there is a option. What you can do? कि तुम्हें पता ही नहीं है. Since you don't know there is a function called as ERF in the math module. So do you care if there is a function ERF in the math module or not? Do you care about that? If you don't know there is a function ERF in the math module, so do you care if there is a function ERF in the math module or not? No, no, exactly. So what you can do, what we usually do, if you can see, like if you have seen maybe some code of someone on the internet also you can see, what we do, all the import statements we write in the starting of the code. Got this class? So now the benefit of this is that import to sara pehle ho gaya, all the things got imported in the starting only. So now, see, I will do it here. Here. Now, even if I call ERF function, here it will work fine. See? Because why? What happened here? Since we have imported first and then we have defined our own ERF function. So what will happen? The ERF function defined by us will override the function imported from the math module. Got this class? Hence removing the problem that we were facing earlier. So usually what we do, all the import statements we write in the starting of the code. Uska ek aur reason, there is one more reason for that is कि whoever, suppose you're showing your code to someone else, okay, so that person will understand. Okay, these things are not called what these things are called actually when you import now. So there is one more thing that we call it. We call it as dependencies. Why dependencies? Dependencies. Okay, because there is a possibility that suppose you are using some module. Suppose there is a module called as NumPy. Okay, now NumPy is not an inbuilt module. It has to be downloaded from the internet and installed separately. So suppose, let's say you are sharing the code to, let's say Priyank made one code and he shared the code with me. Okay. So by looking at the first cell of the Jupyter notebook, I can get to understand, I will understand that, okay, these are the dependencies of this code. Okay. And I need to install these dependencies in my system in order to run this code in my system. So that is another reason why we write all the dependencies in the starting one. Got this class, everyone? Yes, Priyank. Okay. So we saw import math. So the benefit with import math is that it will make the code more structured. Ki a person will get to know. Suppose if I'm reading Imran's code, so I will get to know that okay, this log10 function is part of the math module. Okay. The benefit of this is that. Okay, but the problem with this is that it will import all 65 functions. That problem is there. Second option is there from math, import asterisks that we saw. Okay, all of you got the advantage, disadvantage of this also. Third option is from math. If you want to import anything specifically, import log10. Okay, sign. Okay, and last option is kya tha? I forgot. There is no last option. There is just aliasing is there. As in. Got this class, everyone? This four things that are present in modules, using which you can use modules. Got this class? Advantage, disadvantages of all of them you understood? 2 and 4 are working same na? No. 4 तो aliasing कर रहा है ना? In case of 1, okay, you have to write math dot every time log10, and in case of 4 you will write m dot log10. So they are not same. No. Got this class, everyone? अच्छा, there is one more problem. जैसे मैं दिखाता हूँ. Sometimes ना there are modules. जैसे for example, I hope all of you here know about Maggie, right? Maggie, all of you know noodles, right? Now, noodles are there of Nestle also with the name Maggie. Okay, there is noodles of top ramen also, right? Okay, both of them are noodles. Okay, but they are from different companies. Okay, somewhat taste is also similar, right? I would say, matlab, around there is some difference, obviously. Okay, but like both of them have they are the same concept. Now, same thing happens in modules also. To implement a particular functionality, it is completely possible that there might be multiple modules present. For example, there is a module called as math. There is a module called as numpy. Okay. Now, if you write here math dot seal of 3.4, you will get 4. Same thing you can do using numpy also. Numpy dot seal of 3.4, you will get 4.0. Okay. So you can see the output we are getting is same now, somewhat same, right? One is giving us integer, one is giving us float. But essentially, we are getting the same output, right? Plus, both of them are doing the same task, right? This can happen. So now the problem with this is, suppose गलती से तुमने लिख दिया, by mistake you wrote कि from math import asterisk, and then you wrote, now here depends कि in which sequence you're writing the code. So from numpy import asterisk. Now tell me, if I write here, if I use a seal function, which one of the two will be called? Seal function from the math module or from the numpy module? From the numpy module. Because numpy wala will override the math wala, na? So first math will be imported, then the code will come to line number 2. Okay, and then it will import the numpy seal. Okay, so the seal present in the numpy module will exactly the latest one. Okay, will basically overwrite all the previous ones. Okay, so if you run this code, here you can see it is giving us 4.0. That means numpy wala seal. That in this class. So this problem is there also there in case of when you're using asterisks. So usually in most of the cases, we don't use asterisks like this. Okay, we use explicitly, right? You can use aliasing if you have any problem in writing math every time. So write m, and for case of numpy we use numpy np as np. For math we usually use as m. Okay, so usually we, like in major data scenarios, you will be using this. Okay, you got the problem, right? Because see, this is a major problem. This one is a major problem. Time is not much of an issue. Okay, if you get a higher, if you get a good processor, then time is not much of an issue actually. Okay, but in this case, what will the problem? Why this is a major problem? Plus, because you will be expecting a integer value and it is giving you a float value. Suppose let's say I'm writing here range 3 comma seal of 8.9. So see, it will throw me an error now. Why? Because range function can only take an integer input. You can only give an integer to a range function. Okay, so you were expecting an integer value. You thought that this seal function will come from the math module. So you wrote a seal, but later on what happened? It came from the numpy module. Or by chance हो सकता है तुमने ही गलती से by mistake what you did, you changed this, okay, to this. So initially see your code, you see your code is working fine now. Okay, but later on accidentally you changed this to this. Okay, and you didn't change here in the range function. So what will happen? Your code will start throwing error, right? You won't even know, and you won't understand. You won't even understand why it is throwing error, right? It will become difficult for you to debug the code. Are you getting this, class, everyone? Okay. So what I'm trying to explain here is that whenever you're writing the code, you have to see, you have to notice, you have to focus on one thing: the sequence in which the code is running. The sequence is very, very, very important. Okay, so इसलिए usually this is a very big problem. That is why we don't usually use this asterisk thing. We use this. If you're 100% sure that there won't be any overlap between the functions, suppose let's just say there is a function called as random. Okay, there's a module called as random. Okay, now the functions that are present inside the random module, none of them, as far as I know, I might be wrong. I have not used all of them. Okay, but as far as I guess, the functions present in the random module are not present in, there is no overlap between math and random. So in this case, I can use the import from random import asterisk, from math import asterisk, because there is no overlap between the two. Got this class, everyone? Got this class, everyone? Okay. So that is all about models from my end. There is one small thing that is left out from the models is how to create your own models. How to build your own models. I will cover this in the next lecture. Abhishek, what you are not getting in line number 17? See, यहाँ पे range, if I write, see, seal 8.9, let me show you separately. Seal basically function does what? It will always round up. Seal means round up. Yes, Divya, it will always go to math module. Yes, always. वो तो बस हमने एक नाम, we have just changed the name. That's it. Let me share. Got this? किसने पूछा था मुझसे? Abhishek, you got this seal function now? Okay. So class, yeah, that's it class for today.